All right, very Sine. At this time, we Milon Dunji in the absence, or as the phone is unavoidably absent as of now. I will seize this opportunity to greet everyone who has taken off time from their very busy schedule, Siringambo schedule Ikiba. So, and we just say thank you for coming. While others are coming, we will start at 12:17. And at this time, I will give the floor to the president of Winter, Ta-Nformi Shangon. I hope I am correct to say a word. And this will be preceded by, this will follow, by the introduction of the panelists, of the moderators, and the moderators will go on from there. So once again, we are all welcome to this platform on this very special day to learn, to know, to discuss, and to contribute, our own quota to the enhancement of Mfuh and our division as a whole. Ta-Nformi Shangon, over to you. You are muted. Were you muted? Just unmute. Were you muted? Were you unmute lang? Yeah. Were you no unmute? Were you
I can unmute him if you want.
All right. Yeah. Yes. Were you listening?
Ready. Make sure Lamine Chani Picha organize this program. Not a program. She catch organize. She feel at home. All of us. Ache young say ache Lamine. She just did mena ambonfu. I'm a Ta-Nformi Shangon Johnson. Nfo Yaounde. President Winter. Machita Nfuh, you the military wing of an organized Wimbom community. Then Nagache Bawa, you mission abane to defend the village or the community, in particular and the Wimbom in general. Te you mobivo konega. Mfuh imbane mke angombum imba established ambo history chela mke aba established ba angombor be who am carry the first experience Wimbo mam tori ambaba and Dubinyeka. Aga Dubinyeka, the whole Wimbo mam gada do Biraneka, Adwa Sonjo, Aga Chekuti. Then Mfuga spread Angongbumowe from village to village. Dinwa Mbedo into details. Actually, amene Sibuku ye ni ambosi ye na ajetume Winter. Winter, am chum song bo and she song bo imbom. Jam kwa shine Mfuh you dispersed ado to the diaspora about all over the world. Ebone Mfuh we fap to nyamshe since bir bintinega since bir bintinega blibiana organize ne Mfuh na we baba organize ba be ke development. Then cheba be because birjiluni you development. No, we got a development ga bane via biranaka. We got a biga ade we soga. We got a kongniga ade we soga. So blibe hachu anshi akwashi agadam Mfuh ana uwe abi ambo wirku biga dagenchi na mamba loki mene mamba among the first executive Winter. So I join Winter test lopsip don't be for development of the Wimbom land. We join test don the Wimbom kuntombi mesung lagorka te ngmobola fon berisi.
Very senior president of Winter, Ta-Nformi Shangon. We are so happy and privileged to have you and to learn about one or two things concerning Nfuh and Winter. At this time, I will I will just introduce to you our moderators for the day, for the conference. And the first moderator we will introduce to you is Ta-Nformi Dr. Richard Ndi, whom everybody, well, most people know. And the other moderator is Ta-Nformi TEN, who is not new to anyone here. And will crave their indulgence to take the conference further. Over to you.
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to chair this conference. And I would like to say it is an honor and privilege for us to moderate today's discussion on one of the most important traditional institutions in Mobland, which is Nfuh. For generations, Nfuh has stood not merely as a warrior organization or institution, but as a symbol of courage, unity, discipline, governance, spirituality, and cultural identity among the Wimom people. From defending the territory or defending the territorial integrity of the Fundum to preserving customs and mobilizing the community during moments of crisis and celebration, the Nfuh has played a central role in shaping the history and identity of our people. Today, however, the institution faces new realities: modernization, religious transformation, migrations, changing governance systems, and the growing disconnect between the younger generation and the institutions. And these realities raise very important questions. What exactly is Nfuh? What value did it represent? What lessons can modern society learn from Nfuh? And how can the institution remain relevant within the 21st century? So our discussion today seeks not only to examine the history of Nfuh, but also to reflect critically and respectfully on its conditions and future prospects. So we are privileged to have with us distinguished panelists whose knowledge and experience and perspectives would help us to understand this subject. My co-moderator has the list of all the candidates, all the panelists who will be presenting, and probably the topics on which they will be discussing. So I would call on him to introduce the first presenter so that we can begin the process of listening and, enjoying the discussion on the Nfuh institution in Mobland. So thank you very much. Ta-Nformi TEN, you can take it from there.
Thank you very much, Ta-Nformi Dr. Richard. Salute once more our host, who is no one else but Ta-Killah Tamfuh, who is the CEO of the Canada Learning Institute. This month of May 2026, we are privileged to delve into the core of Nfuh under the topic, the origin and evolution of Nfuh Lodge, with the current challenges and stakes of syncretism, inculturation, acculturation in an evolving world. Is the Nfuh Lodge still as powerful as it used to be? This is the main topic of our debate this evening, this afternoon, for those of you who are across the board. And this topic has been divided into some subtopics that I'm going to read to you right away. The origin and evolution of Nfuh Lodge in Mobland. Nfuh is still very relevant in spite of the challenges and stakes of syncretism and acculturation. Nfuh has been weakened and made less relevant by challenges and stakes of syncretism and acculturation. Whether Nfuh remains relevant or not, what is the way forward? What is the key message to our funds, title holders, our children, and current generations, and those to come? Right away, we have seasoned panelists, as my co-moderator rightly said, and we will be opening the floor with no one else but Ta-Nformi Professor Ndikonta. Ta-Nformi Professor Ndikonta will drill us on Nfuh and its relevance amidst challenges, states of syncretism and acculturation. Ta-Nformi Professor Ndikonta, welcome on the program, and please, you have the floor. We will be happy to have your bio in a few minutes as you introduce yourself and get into the topic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Before Ta-Nformi, Professor Ndikonta comes in, I think probably he may be touching at or handling the origin and evolution of Nfuh Lodge, if my memory is not defective. But yeah, Ta-Nformi, but to you.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. 5 on 5.
Yeah, as he struggles to get on board, I'm sorry, he actually has to deal with the topic, the origin and evolution of Nfuh Lodge in Bumland. I'm sorry, I gave the second topic to someone else while he gets on board.
It looks like
sorry, he has actually left the call, maybe accidentally.
I think maybe it's a connection problem or something like that. Because he was
network,
then just disappeared.
Network is not very stable. The network is not very stable. So while we wait on him, I think just as we heard from Ta-Nformi Dr. Richard, the debate is quite enriching and at the same time challenging. We may be obliged to go to the second speaker if we are unable to have him, which means Ta-Nformi Wakili Pascal should be raising up to talk about the relevance of Nfuh amidst challenges of acculturation and syncretism. Ta-Nformi Wakili.
See you mean for when Ta-Nformi you team managing for this is very funny.
I see you
have been aquí, don't for what they been here who bag him up. C'est very busy me Luxembourg si Tantinina as a young she Canada Ta-Tamfu Killah okay young she Moderators a young she more always in a way you mean me question a ring where we mina Cabana Mering Cabana Simo Amu Chineki Vamidika very busy. Iune si son bon fo si sans fo tinena si sa bon fo aka si sans fo wa e ba ne ami le ndap ndini ba ni la tine vosi ko ikel ba wa ala ne mi jimo mo mi la tem kale la the first one avoka the second one avoka if I go ba me do se ni na ba ne mi lo la ba jifele jo weki sans speech get be chat me be we chat me ban tom be na but I speech ni mi lo si be in me chat ni fu iba ni ba ne fu fe we lo bipshi me wa me 15 minutes abo maso we na ba ne me si sang ya assume na you want tata mi ba
me put menem la do
Okay.
Banam bit to contambi.
Okay. All right. Kabane Prof. Vumbo, Mekwane Atasi Koye Intombi. Ta-Nformi Wakili Pascal, please. We crave your indulgence. Ta-Nformi Professor Ndikonta, over. issues are persisting at the end.
He has left again.
Where Ta-Nformi Professor Ndikonta is found. So maybe that's Bamenda. We know how unstable network is in Bamenda all these days. Oh.
Yeah, you can put it back. You're back.
Sorry.
We waited for a few moments, and then we may have to go back to Ta-Nformi Wakili to Ta-Nformi.
Professor Ndikonta is right back, please.
All right, you're listening. Right on. Ndikonta, Prof.
Yes. Ta-Nformi TEN waba gifake bamukutialane mbasumbo origin and evolution mfule.
No, Alpha, don't tell me about the origin.
Hello?
Whereas you correct your phone about off. You are talking on the origin and evolution of food.
Mbalambo, origin and evolution of food.
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead. That's the right topic for you. The right subtopic for you. Origin and evolution.
You're frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen. Yeah.
There's a network you like.
And he has left.
Simo eba filme video who did Simo eba better.
Yeah, but it can be off from the meeting. So I
so
think
bane si lokuse manjile. Then te si Ta-Nformi Wakili, then te si bogen in time. He galovu si lay manji. Then take over the presentation. So mekwane si bifanji ni Ta-Nformi Wakili. Ambo ralana. Ta-Nformi Wakili.
Really, we see.
What accolades we you got? So I will be somewhere where you.
So accolades what? But I'm Nfomi Wakili. As you way, may you make it known for Mambore, me for Quimbore. So I worry where I'm winter. Where I'm get winter. In there, we meet in there. We meet Bashi Biabi and check a letter. What's his something for? As you way, you make on it. Are you make it? Got boomy, maybe me a bomb for the for. So we are kept me about 2 moments. So maybe soon we use in a it'll be about a talent anything. So we in a could be relevant. My son, it's too late 15 minutes speech, but what I mean about 15 minutes. But that is some with the understanding that you are tarvisi, me baleta. So maybe a thing bit like checher tesibo jambo. The theme Nfuh is still very relevant in spite of the challenges and stakes of syncretism and acculturation. So, Your Royal Highness, the Tanwarong, distinguished Ta-Nformi, Tamfuh scholars, custodian of culture, and Wibum sons and daughters across the world. Good evening from Libreville. I want to begin by appreciating the organizers of this conference for choosing the topic that goes to the very heart of our identity. And I also want to thank Professor Ndikonta. That was my speech, assuming that it will be there, for laying a solid historical foundation. So my task today is to show that in spite of syncretism, inculturation, acculturation, globalization, and modern pressures, Nfuh remains deeply relevant, not because it is unchanged, but because it continues to adapt. One of the biggest reasons people think Nfuh is no longer relevant is because we misunderstood its role. Many people believe Nfuh was created only for war. That is a historical error. Yes, Nfuh has a military function, but war was only one of his responsibilities. and not even the most important. Before the recent introduction of what we call today the traditional council, Nfuh was the central decision-making body of the village. So, merci Bambona Tembo Piwinachwe to Mwap Ndamwap JJJ and Tatibami mi high and mi high na ekibami Nfuh alo chumbo amsi chumbo sa to mwe uwe si lorji do ke tungwa non lor do tungiri lor do aditi merci lana so tem Ndikonta bien. So, Melamane, repeat, before the recent introduction of what we now call the traditional council, Nfuh was the central decision-making body of the village. It was the parliament, the senate, the strategic advisory council, the moral court, the crisis management committee, and the place where the funds send matters requiring deep reflection. When the village faced a dilemma, it was Nfuh that debated and resolved it. When the land needed direction, it was Nfuh that provided it. When discipline was required, it was Nfuh that enforced it. That is why all the heads of secret societies sit in Nfuh, because Nfuh is the brain of the village, not just its peer. So when people say Nfuh is no longer relevant, they are judging it only by its military function and ignoring the intellectual, moral, and administrative functions that define Nfuh. Yes, some responsibility has been transferred to the traditional council, but the fund still relies on Nfuh for sensitive matters, secret matters, disciplinary matters, and strategic matters that require unity of custodians. The council may speak publicly, but Nfuh still thinks privately. The heart of the institution is still beating. The enemies of the village today are not neighboring tribes. The enemies are hunger, poverty, lack of clean water, absence of schools, lack of hospitals, unemployment, rural decay. These are the modern wars, and Nfuh is still fighting them. Not with spears, but with development contributions, leadership, sacrifice, and community mobilization. In many villages, Nfuh members contribute more than 75% of all development funds. Check your registers on all contributions. You will see that most of them are Nfuh members. This is not accidental. It is the same discipline, the same sense of duty, the same warrior spirit, but expressed in a modern way. The spear has changed shape. So the spear of Nfuh no longer pierces a human body. Today, it pierces hunger, poverty, ignorance, and every social ill that threatens our people. That is relevance. Some people say Nfuh is dying because the villages are empty. That is not true. Rural exodus did not kill Nfuh. It exported Nfuh. People left the villages, yes, but they carried their values with them. That is why in Yaoundé, in Douala, in Bamenda, in Libreville, in Europe, in America, in Canada, Nfuh members are the backbone of every community development initiative. The discipline on Nfuh did not disappear. It simply relocated. The flame of the warrior did not die. Transformed. Let us be honest. Christianity, Islam, Western education, and globalization has created confusion for many people. The syncretism and acculturation do not destroy Nfuh. They only expose a level of discipline among its custodians. if a man abandons his cultural responsibilities because of a new religion, the problem is not the religion. The problem is the man's understanding. Faith and culture are not enemies. Identity is not sin, and tradition is not idolatry. The Bible and the Quran both encourage respect for heritage. So the challenge is not syncretism. The challenge is ignorance. And ignorance is cured by education, not abandonment. So what remains relevant because, one, identity is still relevant. A people without identity are a people without direction. Discipline is still relevant. Modern society is collapsing because discipline has collapsed. Community development is still relevant. Villages still need water, school, roads, and hospitals. Moral authority is still relevant. Vote remains a symbol of order and responsibility. Diaspora cohesion is still relevant. Nfuh is one of the few institutions that unite Wimbo people across continents. Cultural continuity is still relevant. Our children abroad will not inherit culture by accident. Nfuh is the bridge between the past, the present, and the future. The real question is, so the question is not, is Nfuh still relevant? The real question is, are we, the custodians, still disciplined enough to uphold the values that made Nfuh relevant? If we are disciplined, Nfuh will remain strong. If we are confused, Nfuh will appear weak. Institutions do not fail. People fail institutions. And the Sumbu, it made fire 15-minute speech. But in what I make it, actually 15 minutes can be forced in my very weak.
Very. Me kwa ne wako almost about me or 15 minutes mbala and mbele kushwe minutes beti pero gieni. So I think our procedure would be to leave the other panelists to see whether they have one or two things to add to what our presenter on this subject has presented. If they don't have, then we'll round up that and then we go to the next presenter. If the other panelists have something to add on this topic, this particular topic that is handled by Ta-Nformi Wakili, they can make their contributions.
Oh, okay. Tem kukisi umbo sikafia the relevance of Nfuh min gong sina siene even Ta-Nformi ala biro la gor ne zergebze senega me kwa mene the Rio interview sene kusti babze ani banjo zikele si fait apto wen ngona ene to bo inu ngona se bu military da ko ki ban jene observa we te military to ka for military. So I did si lo lan si bi dori responsibility info on si bi shift Nfuh from observe to coins in another way. Just it's into the next topics and be addressed. Just use this shift in the mindset in Nfuh in the context of scenario relevant Katna. Yuba because of this notion of syncretism and acculturation. So give ya so kwa so fisi ambo Nfuh yu Nfuh kuba sini adi Nfuh kirkiri do zerka wa besine siri yu ambo yu adi Nfuh kona yang siga. So in that context, du kubzere kebi kiba ebi baka Nfuh kustiba very relevant. Na kustiba the prime responsibility of Nfuh angombo.
Very well. Yes. Mama Hectorial Armin Duma. Tem kula ne waka two question a sangi or sang me chat mote ebo banjo she will find me show me see the presentations where they be she questions and discussions. So waka two question a sang me chat or sang shine lana okay ring was sang question and we have a answer. This presenter will answer tesivo or tesivo yang sigi temfe sivo yenvi korga.
Yeah, Mobishi an intervenite Ta-Nformi Dr JB Samba Evening shortly after, maybe after 2 or 3 more persons. Any other person? If not, we'll hand it. Okay.
Yes, temkulane summarily. Si ayo usi Ta-Nformi Wakili ne bia mkwashi ne mfu amkubale nebo mababire. Mfu amkubale nebo mababire ka mbu amleba osi. Mfu to discipline. Atu a promoter of culture. Actually advise talk about to support and jerry. Akiri shishwe minete ngwebo ni alaka. Ine mfu ambigu gwe ka mane mfu bi kwa shine mfu amgwe bana mgwe babi yo institution iki gibi institution iki gwe ni jituka sika bana siamshi gashi mfu bonbonka bana si siambale problem ke bana le mfu ka so si le gashi si mfu tem mfu bo take on tombe me kwa na jitula shi la ne si ambo mfu intine so si be lo menjimo si domi the next presenter shine yuba Ta-Nformi JB. So Ishila me
moderator.
Yes. Yes.
Permit me to interrupt you a little bit.
Okay.
Dr. Raymond Budi Ibamiki. I bo Tata Stephen so Dr. Raymond. Dr. Over.
Yeah, very sorry, I may intervene at this point, but my question the presentations in time for me is central to this discussion. And then message pull from Ta-Nformi JB's intervention. Metalane, it is not true that we no longer have wars. Wars. There are still threats to the Mbom identity. There are still people who are struggling to erase the Mbom from existence. And that is the context within which Nfuh was created in 1890. It was to stop or to repost a group that wanted to annihilate a whole identity. And that was Nfuh. Nfuh wanted to wipe off the Mbom so that they have direct access to Nigeria for their trade. But without Nfuh, Mbom would not be existing today. And so there are those threats that are still existing. Don't we still have Mbororo trying to wipe us off from existence? What is Nfuh doing in that context? Don't we still have the Anglophone crisis wiping off our people? That is war. What are we still doing? What are we doing as Nfuh? You know, so there are still wars. There are still villages fighting villages in Mbomland. What is Nfuh doing in that context? We have wars right here. And so if we want to preserve the identity we are talking about, which is the very reason why Nfuh was founded in the first place, we will not be evasive by saying that we no longer have wars today. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes, I think Ta-Nformi Wakili has taken note. We'll come to that when we are responding to some of these questions. Yes, there was Pastor, is it Tata Stephen? Yeah,
if I may interrupt again, okay. Please, we want to reserve this first part of the program entirely for the panelists. So we plead on Mr. Tata to hold on a bit. And please do not forget what you wanted to say. You will come in subsequently. Ta-Nformi Dr JB Samba, over to you.
Okay, me shani ngwe mendabi me kwa meneka bambo ambo bisodi kuntomzo obi sibi mendabu we mbumo ujitem kit son figure an ike biam zika ala ni sifu bonbon zila Ta-Nformi JB Samba mungenjo dan ta temi Nfuh boya atemi Nfuh Ta-Nformi atemi Nfuh DMB mais ba Nfuh DMV lo ke mene Ta-Nformi Girbon So Nfuh has been weakened and made less relevant by the challenges and stakes of syncretism and acculturation. Mila mene eyune meaning in use okay ne syncretism na alzibarana. See you taba mboshi lambo use si din sene yuna nyapsi ndi sena lor ndi yo du nyapsi o zwe mo so we kusi ayene you ziv ni si ye goruba use religion ava ginfo yo de bi lor bu ne du ku religion se nyapsi abunfo as syncretism ana and then where do me acculturation acculturation na you ba sene we o tole amax ndi yo asuruan kop bazu nwe mo je so wherever me Nfuh adi Nfuh turngir anjerke siga se lor ndi sene yuba ndi Nfuh to lor ndi mo sena ze bije nyapsi amno bane i meaning ine je ndi se si larbu nyapsi lang du buku religion nyabo Nfuh egi Nfuh create ambo Nfuh ke turngir ambo imba ntomzga and then you know what all lord ya ni all of them Nfuh ber kondi Nfuh ga se combat you know lord Nfuh do over direction moje sine lord bandi moje le kuntomz men Nfuh we ke bion oba gibum ambo ndi Nfuh amba ntomz bi mo oba sine adi simo all ko bam lap ni njo se all ne to vin ndi Nfuh oba banjo okay abanjo use bara okay ne syncretism by acculturation na where use si ka hwe nim no one hwe do deep lulusi do sa you mo sene ike ban sene ga you mo ikilo if ba mu fe as coup cb over time sene eva gizi ni boom you sene ikisha me Nfuh siki gi Nfuh ka turungir sumbila bu bwana mina ka anjo mina at the venue ga sine oku gi me Nfuh sikilo gite Nfuh ka tu dengir sine ki suppose antur ka dubu gilzur fa ke dubabzere ke info ngalai ke giba ke bumo yo sino ki gi me Nfuh aneki ninne bi ba shumo sir ka si gi bwana bersaka nyapsin di ha bersaka se bi mo yam no ma se oku me Nfuh no ba you yo futu ba kam dabe ma se bwa den bilo me Nfuh bilo ba shumo sir ka overshuti ku yob dabi ku di abi ber ba shumo se du ku bumo ka so se gi ngir Nfuh isi yetin ngir Nfuh kirb zambo imbaka just bi vishumi Nfuh ba bi ber ba shumo sir du ku ndi Nfuh siga dem ko fam ambo mur dong ne wa anjo wa yes ini ebal lang Nfuh ambi maybe you just maybe non Nfuh ko la ka but Nfuh si no ambe mulesa mbo yaunde bamenda duala bio you sono no okay sta Nfuh ga but ka ba nong sine o suppose lingwa mo ba lazim Nfuh ye ni ba ne o suppose ning menda Nfuh gibu mo mbo sine ambo ndi Nfuh ke suppose amba ayene bi mo so ke Nfuh so bo bi vuga ndo original bu so bi ginona o ko ngamba part of zaga mbo banjo bi ke mbo banjo sine o nyapsi ndi ngweje ndi Nfuh wombome biake ring so tega ngwelo ring wena idu teba nembe tem fisike ife ba minda Nfuh vishu ba minda Nfuh lega so mago vambangro so Nfuh o yu ambo o shwa mindu nka awa kumo nembe kumo mem iba njerwa adi Nfuh turngir ambo suppose ambaka njo is Nfuh okay do with the truth meaning justice and Bokelana. And then aba in a before this mini but justice aka together was supposed to be rara. Ba mindam fu sumo yu rara ka so you want to ra du kung fu ka. Adi busu was supposed to give me fu ke you lead mindam fu ke you for me ke you tamfu ke you tamjo ke you mancher ke you even tar fu ka bana yunti yu rara du kung fu ka just this syncretism and acculturation are a gypsy way. Adi yunti ya barara du kung fu ka adi agi use was supposed to give me them fu if aga. So ka bana use was supposed to give me them fu. It's supposed to fa them fu ka turngit. Bana dim fu ke tur dengir si supposed to turka. Just sune wetur weteka Hila bu igi buha abugi alorsi ambolorsi on awezo aberwelo bilo ning no so ringine se convert biga but at the end of the day alo yene already bia convert change akirbaba biso suppose ambaka bikudu fu ila na wo winga fu but we feel deeply ayena ngamfu wa ogudu fu bambo like ogudu lo du fu kudu bambo no do ambo a social gathering even not do for the seriousness of mfuka akabambi is not really lorne bu serious lor bu mfu seriously leni tsiba yene magorobi shansi mfu fusi mbwa banjo si lor ndi mfu asu nyapsi ndi mo so ne yuban ndi mfu ka and there be more of is be more ibazine si yaba ku ma ndi mfu ana dudu lor ban ndi mo je le kuntom zu ku tiambo mbaro ke vuta tira he yobe igi bi mo lol fe mfu si ni baba ambo mfu ko baba bz kabade mfu lot fa use ne yo so ne bi mo fe mfu ba ambo bz bo bane ngir mfu aduka bane use ke na syncretism and acculturation na gingir mfu asisu so you may bon ine si di bua just si mo ebi ku si tesi ring ne titro a responsibility yene ka bane ngir mfu sisu bane si suppose and gitangira na foot back ambo silana mfu amba sine mbang ambo ine mtongo mo sir no banjo sine ngir sikilo fu ine mtongana ayo ambo kulo tarsim ro njo ni mo sir gabni mwewe tengirana mwewe bo lordo bersi ini iba bambo ndi sisia fu ayentini sine yu je ifandi sisia mkeo si allora va nyapsi mindamfu igisi ni bambo bimo yu akaning mindamfu olo ngelo temru mvu lane no bi metu lo mvu ga ne no babia do zero ne okay ikon yu na an gabni mvu ga do se bimo yu of mvu doti ba sino ka non jo small jer o web na small non jo jer ba mindam ga ambo zigi abios mindamfu
Shiran obo
girmfu is weni ba jerwa me kwa ne ku termina ka ba ne bi ga tsoro ebzips sikulo de imbona di kuntoms beri.
Okay, very say time for me, JB. Your presentation. So mbela many panelist again. Kabane maturi you admin you she time for me, JB. Asonsi doku mfu mandam fu bangi mendam fu. De ingang kulate si ka yana sibi lo dukuntom janjekale. Ni wekate turiuka meko amene la shine Ta-Nformi la yu mosir ilan inculturation ba syncretism ana amini eva afa si ngese jisi bi mo aninjo ngamfu mo aninjo akelo ring din fuka so aba eblan gi din fuka bu mo shim mfu am shin ne ba shi gi tebi obarara shi turmu je detika mfu ashigi ka o mfu ogi se ne shi paka jo bianara flembo bu mo shine va aningsi nyor ne din fu dene shile gi temfu shile ba manji bi yule men fu se na hu kon le simo oba kiri gi bu shim fu ki gi ka oba ku no ba bu si ka kon en fu ba mba shine ba di mini ba di shi ke la yu ju chambo oba la beta si kure nem din fu shine mini si ma shine fu tu legendi shine si ka bi mo e shile gi si bu shi fa ma ko na yu shine adem la ne summary Ta-Nformi Ta-Nformi yes.
Okay, thank
JB
you, Ta-Nformi Dr. Richard, for the brilliant summary. In Limbum, syncretism and acculturation, some factors that have brought confusion to food culture in Mbumland and out of Mbumland. Dr. Ta-Nformi Dr. JB thinks that these values have actually weakened the food culture amongst Wimbum people. For instance, we find a food version, a church version on food, you know, and all of that. So as we move forward to the next speaker, I think we are taking note so that when the discussions will be open, we can ask questions, maybe while the raison d'etre of acculturation is syncretism really present in our communities and how it's affecting us. So while waiting for Ta-Nformi Professor Ndikonta, who is still struggling to be stable on network, we will go directly to Ta-Tamfu Bernard Tanwarong. Ta-Tamfu.
All right. Very, Meshani, for Nfuh, Ashani, Tamfuh, and all moderators, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I am Bernard Tanwarong, but they call me Tamfuh Fakir. I'm originally from the village of Sop, and I serve as Tamfuh in the Lodge of Nfuh of Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. And before I talk here, I want to put a disclaimer here that what I'm presenting here is my understanding of how food works. It is not opinion of food DMV, and I don't have documents to support what I'm saying. So we are learning and we're getting somewhere. So my role would be to say whether the food remains relevant or not, and what is the way forward. And we have also listened to Wakili Pascal, who has talked about relevance, and my own Ta-Nformi JB, Ta-Nformi JB, who is very serious on syncretism. It's a daily conversation in our lodge. But my task is to see if what is the perspective and how we can move forward, right? And I've been tasked with this little challenging task of giving a word to our children, our title holders, and our phones. But I will give it a try. In my presentation, my first point will be, let's look at what we must restore. We must first restore the structure of our lodges. Today, our lodges are full of generals, which means form is right. But a lodge cannot function with generals only. We are lacking captains, we are lacking corporal, we have messengers. In Limbo, Tetun Jirka, Tiatu Ta Njonka, Tiatu Ta Gweka. We have so many informees. No problem with informees, but I think that a full chain of command that gives full discipline and effectiveness, we have to fill those up one at a time, and helping our warriors also grow within the ranks. A military without rank is confusion, right? A lodge without its compartment is also incomplete. If we want food to remain strong, we must fill these compartments and only the top positions when the lower ranks are empty, and that becomes a heavy and ineffective. So the first approach would be structural restoration. The second aspect that we are seeing today is, from my disclaimer, we must document our tradition or lose it.
Looks as if we cannot hear the speaker so well. Maybe adjust your ear keys and something. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Yeah, very laudable now. So basically, I think we may have to, maybe you may have to start, permit me the tautology. We didn't get you well. Sorry about that.
Oh, really? Okay. So you want me to start from point number one or right over? Left hand of point?
Now we are still not getting you at all. I think previous one was better. So maybe see what adjustment to make.
Can I go without a microphone?
That will be the best 100%. Thank you.
Oh my! All right, I need 2 minutes back, right? So you want me to start over, right? Am I going again?
Yeah, of course, you're very good to go. I think the moderators will give you 2 minutes plus, don't worry.
All right, so I said the first point, we must restore the structure of our lodges. We have, many of our lodges are full of generals, which are the formies, but a lodge cannot function with generals alone. We are lacking captains, sergeants, corporal, messengers. I'm talking about Manshir here, Gwes here, Tamka here. So we need to fill those as well. And the full chain of command that gives Nfuh is discipline and effectiveness. A military without rank is confusion, and a lodge without its complete compartment is incomplete. A lodge without a Ta-Tamfu is incomplete as well. If we want Nfuh to remain strong, we must fill this compartment. I already made that point. So the first step forward would be structural restoration. And secondly, I link up to my initial discussion, a book that I referred to. So this is my understanding. So we must document our traditions or we will lose them. For too long, our knowledge has lived only in the minds of our elders. We know our elders grow old, elders forget, elders pass on. If we do not document our traditions, our children would inherit confusion, our diaspora would inherit fragmentation, Canada will be doing it on, DMV will be doing it on, and our future would inherit nothing. So documentation does not mean exposing our sacred secrets. It means preserving history, telling what the values are, what are their very roles, what are the procedures, what are those symbols, and the philosophy behind each institution. Ta-Tamfu kibake, Ta-Killah kibake, Ta-Nformi kibake. So a culture that is not documented will disappear definitely, right? So we must write our story. We must record them. We must create archives, and we must teach our children. This is the only way that we can ensure authenticity. And on the third part, we must pursue uniformity. Yes, it exists, but we must try to make it uniform. Today, every village interprets for it in all way. Diaspora, they practice differently. Every law has its own version of same tradition. That lack of uniformity, I think, weakens us. So, to make it strong, we need a common understanding. We need a common structure, a code of conduct, a common identity. And also, we need to be tolerant, right? one of our speakers here talk about syncretism, and some people who know Nfuh a lot think that some lodges are doing things that should not be done, and they tend to stay away from Nfuh. I don't think that's the way forward. The way forward is we have to come together and see how can we do that. I quote a simple example. Some people say we where do I get food here in Food DMV? This is just an example. So we must try to accommodate certain things too as food. And if we want our children in Canada, America, Europe, Cameroon to inherit the same food, we must agree on one food truly is. Yeah. Authenticity without uniformity becomes confusion, right? And that uniformity without authenticity too, the reason it was created, becomes imitation. So we need both. We must redefine war. I've heard other speakers say we don't have physical wars, and people have added that we have physical wars. Yes, we must fight them, but we must consider those modern generation war. Our fathers fought with spears through physical weapons, but we fight with ideas, with development, and with unity. If there is physical war, we might not fight it with weapons. We would fight it with strategy and diplomacy. Those lodges, our lodges, we have the tools to implement all this, to make this happen. Like we already heard, the enemy today is not really the word that we're hearing. It's mostly poverty, lack of amenities and infrastructure, and moral decay. We have to think of addressing this. These are really the words of our time. Nfuh is not going to fight with spears anymore. We are going to fight with ideas. How are we going to fight that? We must strengthen personal development. A weak man cannot build a strong institution. A confused man cannot defend culture. A man without discipline cannot lead others. So, every warrior must pursue personal development, personal growth, moral discipline, leadership training, cultural education, like attending presentations like that, and take on community responsibilities. Nfuh untitled, this is not a decoration. Nfuh is a lifestyle, it's a standard, it's a discipline. If we want food to be respected, all its members must be respectable. But I know a lot of Nfuh members are respected, right? We cited here that most projects, most development at home is championed by warriors. That's why we see so many responsible Nfuh barriers, right? If we look at the contribution of every Nfuh who has earned the title of Nfuh barrier, they deserve it, they have earned it. Let us warriors continue with that spirit of sacrifice. But that sacrifice, I think there's a better way to do it. We must strategize. We must channel it. Let Nfuh barrier of Taku not do it alone. Let all the Nfuh barriers come together and say, how are we going to make Mumland better? And we must plan that. We have seen a lot of Nfuh barrier. I have no personal issue with Nfuh barrier. I'm using an example of people I respect a lot. But if all this effort were concerted and brought together, we would be a step higher, right? And this community development should not be emotional. We should have seen that coming and build a very solid Nfuh Lodge, sorry. So, what do we need? We need development committees. We need project planning. We need accountability. Kabalewa osu lemba mfo amba lenda mfo njimkang umaleji. We need accountability. We need long-term vision. And if Nfuh leads development, the villages will move forward. We must guide our children too, because this is about prosperity now. I'm almost rounding up. If we want our culture to continue, we must grow. We are growing in a world where that knowledge is not passed on. We have a problem. If we don't teach our children, the internet will teach them. Foreign religions will teach them. So we must teach them. Every warrior should take their male child to Nfuh. And I'm suggesting that prior to the full session, prior to prime time, let's give them the first 30 minutes to practice our instruments. This is how we lock them in. We also have to teach our children discipline, respect, and belonging. And we have to show them their pride. I shall share a small example with you. I go to Nfuh all the time with my son, and each time I come with Ta-Nformi Giribong, we salute the king. 2 months ago, we went in there.
Even for thinking of rounding up in a few moments.
All right, while we were performing, while we were doing that, my 15-year-old son did the same thing. Meanwhile, he was not initiated. Automatically, he was initiated. So let's take our male children to the full sessions. And as I know, last part, I had a message to our funds. And I want to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank our funds for their resilience and working and navigating during this turbulent era. We ask them again to help us with my initial plea to fill the lodges completely, restore the land, enforce discipline, restrict or ban the use of food by foreign religions, and protect authenticity. But to our title holders, how do we enforce our title holders? How are we strong? Let's start saving schemes, loan scheme, economic empowerment of our title holders, and let's create a steady income generating project for all our palaces. If I'm left to wrap here, I'm going to ramble all day, all night. But the future of food depends on us. So in 3 lines, we are going to, first of all, rally behind the new Wimbum Torchbearers Associations to organize the first mega Wimbum Cultural Festival to put ourselves on the map. And think from here, we will go places and our youth will definitely come with us. So Nfuh is not dying. Nfuh is waiting for us to reorganize, to document, to teach, to lead. And if we do so, our children will inherit identity. They will be proud of us and will restore our structure. So let's know that if we do all of these things, the flame of Nfuh will keep burning and the spear will not be piercing human flesh. Our hearts will build structures that would sustain for generations to come. Thank you very much for my extra time. I yield.
Ta-Nformi Dr Richard, over.
Thank you, Ta-Tamfu for your presentation. I would ask for the other panelists to add something, and then we can maybe just capture what they have said briefly, and then we move to the last presentation, which will be that of Professor Ndikonta, which was supposed to be the first. Unfortunately, it's coming last, and there were questions on the chat already referring to that first presentation. So we'll come back to it, but let me know that there are people, panelists who have something to add to what Ta-Tamfu has presented.
Yeah, metur muyuan kisi. So see the ambo syncretism and acculturation. you have to some kind of indirect effect message. So this is a Ta-Tamfu platform about message to our phones. So ring the visita. Okay, sasiba to room ken. So you if the way to bujere and gombo. Sini lang eme du kumfu. You mba mitar ken amerwa. Ayugi wefe amdamfu. We about Ta-Tamfu abala. Wayem formolo tari ru bazobo ruba shit ru mbandaba samba tomze well ning min dap some formolo ba even able and feel ndam serga buabanjo bi kele buabanjo sine si because of this syncretism and acculturation a move from the standard practice some lo fang lo gingwa for me ogiwa tamfu ogiwa tamjo banumba yena da girfa ana oka giwa bwana and move towards a situation sine you know lo giwa for me or giwa you mo banjo so we giwa mo sine aka akolor we nona ning so mi ndamfu arno using for me kikiga and bimo oko was by ready and yet ni seva abwana mbwa ke about this syncretism and acculturation those mwemo ishunje ishunje ndimo ba used to we well of ba so well lori akos abu yin formina ikonzi berkona ye ndi formiga je ngwana lo ning minfu lo gypsy ke ilo kupsule so me ni ndem fi akesna mirim ken oba feb mba ani mere siyene oka buwe obuwe sine ida iri yuwa na we uses ogi mbo ni eba ambo marriage all of ngelo ko marriage certificate we ka ke du gibguna be kwa na am mo fa busu gimfu asi yetambo mfu ke turungiri ka njo dise magor biolo ko certificate we ka du ke ye ni ana we mo so ba willing o ka ba able and ye ne ga
very say yeah. So summarily at least Ilane, yeah, what Ta-Tamfu Fake has presented really based on structure on Nfuh. How is the structure? Is the structure respected? Are people occupying the positions they occupy? The positions are in Nfuh. Because some people, I mean, some positions are not occupied, so we should occupy Nfuh positions so that everybody plays their role. When positions are not occupied, you know, those positions are not played. And if we have all Nfuhmis and we don't have people under them, then the other positions that other people play are not existing. We should also document so that our children have a reference. We should teach our children, carry them to Nfuh, let them learn about our Nfuh. So we must also try to bring some uniformity so that we don't have too many variations. Let's count on what brings us together and have something that unifies Nfuh, which will be very good. That us as Nfuh members, we should be the standard bearers, and we should behave in ways that people would respect our institution. We should not behave to discredit our institution. And then we should be able to, we should be accountable. And then we should have a long-term vision. Then people who are in Nfuh should know the roles that they are playing and should be able to play them so that our institution can remain strong and vibrant. So those are some of the key points that Ta-Nformi Fake has presented. So the questions, yes?
Ta-Nformi Dr Ndi, we are already 1 hour 26 minutes into our program. I think the timing is going on well. Do we take some few inputs before we introduce Professor Professor Ndikonta, who is going to laugh last?
I think the hand of Ta-Nformi Professor Ndikonta was up. So if we, and then there's a lot that we need to learn as well from Prof. So if he can jump in, that will be so, we'll be privileged to have him on board. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Ta-Nformi Professor Ndikonta, the origin and evolution of Nfuh. You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm very sorry about my network. It was very unstable. I don't know why. You'll excuse me for that. That said, Bila mene Nfuh mkeba njekele mabari yu ngemo lane Nfuh mkele me 1890 or 18 something. No, I got them from Baba Kula me 18 something ka. Buji melana, you ban jene asang fadi moga. You ban a well of getiriana. Charge lane date, charge lane you hambana. It correspond back ele. Metalamene ambamen fiji German amba isingong baramnya. Nfuh mbekeka njochi ngwemo eke song yu do ba menfi anaga yo sigurin ne jisindi asanga bran alo yu ba mbongelane amba menfi haji ba njene so mlamene Nfuh mlo ke sisi ba menfi che wimbo man lo ambongwemo sir ado birnyeka njilo njochi nso amchevu chi ma birne yamndi ebugo do adu babanye Nigeria tewo yabo komngur enye mbembe misaje ko bunye Nigeria adu ko abla njo ambanganta akaba menfechi birha waya ka achivu bire aji bri abi chi amba wa ging angu nchi do konsona yo aborin wene nchi yuwa baba ngombo me kaba menfiana bia silania arin kenya amba me German kale njochi German am kirba fa menfi Egypt dirana mbaka so you were around after 1920 merinchane ke njochi you were menfi je wabita biamche chang baramnya aje do abringi aje do abdi yu atete fade baramnya ba fa genga aga ba menfi jaje putina ba menfi 1920 acha chi German ado se ni am rebira sowe we ado aga evo nso amko abere ngwene nso amko ngar is British njochi ade akushi ne amlo layumo me birne ma nimbang ko nimbo njoke njochi amba me fe we aji tangshi ngar ama we biale we aker chuan tangshi a chuan tangshi lon fe wimbo ma duwa bo ambu se na hilane ma nim mbang ko nimbo so silane amba kemen fe ana bima ima mbebe misaje bimin kambe ala vunim goro abaja wimbo nyeka siako nso afab shibu afab mbe weyachang akutifa wabla aka ekutifa la nkwi mbore ambani bi chunye baba ay tonjo na ne wipa ega donye wipa ana ado banjo embane baramko yenjo he imko yo English ka imko on the England ka so ya ko ye do shang ye ba ara chunjo aka putise ne memfeje biramina ava achumembare ringwene amenfe anache biaka sini che domedi mo sir memborana aje chuabi akene ai Nonfo mbo prove you ne am lo Nonfo wa chilaba amla ngom amchela ba single ga alolane to bima ema war abe volamfo binje tambo abe volamfo bi chalo men kambe abe volamfo bi chalo ni lo abe volamfo ambamche ge men fi ana wa gini wa di mombachi bi yam birana ado agwatip tubi warana woge jumwe ibambo ji uchi va wembu wa so eba mfiana wenon chi bumiga biana chuti se ne bab di jam chi tone to aje no bab to abdi ya yuna mbana am chi no to ba me di mosrga jo am no to bambo bo lab yo mwe chu faye chi no to mekush mene di momba mala ma wera to mambuko am chi no to yo masa am no to aga dunyo lo ago yene di momba jam chi no to so mfu jiba membore bialo to moje no abambo yu biagelo lete ayuwe ilo basi ni ne aga de mfesip I don't know what biago yeni but I know mfu member wa kushi ne na amchi yomfu alimbonka amchi yomfu ba liba amchi yomfu alinsoka am yoba liba so mba menfi ana chebo donshu wene mfu ambaba yucham ye ni ba ese wiba ke bane am ye ni ba siam ke ago kuchi yomfu siga sia koni ba si bichi siam bring siam yewe yamba chi gibwana te melawa alane mfu jika avu ke sinwa alo ke sini bian leti awo okay ji duo fa wabla njoji aga do membore aga agar wo am for me bane wo we bilo puti fa wo se ni vu kemfo we kemfo wa de buana bu mfo we ko bane we toto and so on via bari ni ndamfo so ambo mfo mkewa aga ji duan abdi angombo me tembola mene jiga dosini bi ndo vika sini jo mfum ke edom la ko do ba ndo ga am je do ba bo bi cham do nye ka avoni ne to binjo afa di je mfum che vuje ke ba nem ke ba ndo sisi ga alright ka ba mfi wimbo wa ning mfo sini mfo vute ba mento evute ba fa di je ndo yo abane sini mfuka ke logike aji evolve banje ke eji tene menfeche bara avose ne chor av fasi avachu aginsi aji lane mfu bonka njochi njengweke ninglemboka ambu ya wamba ene njengwa ga je ningmiyuga bane pucha je gembo yu bebe ambo chi mfu mjer ala baba nje wa atang tisi na chor we tang ti bi chor gasa ambaya ke bane am je birsin fu siga me kwa shimene ku bane we am je la ne we ba mfu ifa ke je we ba mwe gasa ifa ke do mfu ga baraka de afia mfu ayeyu mo chi ne gasa abibsiga yuchim bebe ambaba ne chona ga vujala ne mfu bonga njo njingwe ke nimbo ka bane be bon bane njingwe nimbo tiari ngbo we ba ai la mene njo che biam che do birwa ambanro hello
okay, go ahead.
Hello,
Yes,
yam fi agetia
go ahead, Prof. Sorry,
hello
Diabegetica or Prof.
all right mela mene agalo ba menfichi ambo ngachor avuning mechor chilane binga afa bimite do waba do mechor ga ambo ike banje wate agalo yewene buye pepsi njoji aga lani mbano wa lani ngwajine ega ke domfo avake nonvi me kuga njo asatan mambo ke banje wate biaka lo ke sini chifu memfo biaka lo ke sini chilane mfo bonga me la mene eyowa mfo yetur problem gor abamane biaje mbo wa sini kukwa shine where ayabndi alo do sini mechor lo ke ene abi imitate mfo mbo chimbo alani wo yene bonga pastor aglani wo yene ke ni mfo yime mechor ayuji gile aka ke si yasini biaje yom fo mechor biaje yom njo ba mechor sini chine ayuji wo alani mbonga iwa ke simo biabe ke bibshi mo bumo te nga ke la yuje me la yune mfojim ke lewa ambaba yusi amkoni ba esin so gorsiga ade mlamene si amkoni gorbasi wiba enje baba nyemdop njochi influence ambane ngwembora mbelo chunjo aka kilo puti emcho ane baram ko yene edo chanjo ega lo aputi senete bwana kaje vangombo me bere
Very tough for me, Professor Ndikonta. Okay, he who last best. My question where miss were so badly. So badly. See to me, another phase initiate all the presenters over to 3 to 5 minutes and polish Sebo Ambo debate about the honor, make it be so Ta-Nformi Dr Ndi Richard, over.
Explainable Sialana Sivifa. Let's 3 minutes each. Okay, give less than 3 minutes, even better. Just summarize your presentation. Then see what see his presentation number 1. 3 minutes maximum. See we can Professor Ndikonta Shemisi. Listen, boy, you are bad. Persons in Amfuna.
Yeah, Mekuro chip in one thing Ta-Nformi, but we're questioning a takeaway from what Professor Ndikonta did. I mean, it's the origin of Nfuh has been an enigma. It's a very problematic thing. Be at different conception, different things that they think about the origin and evolution of Nfuh. So is it where? And considering the presentation from Professor Ndikonta, what do you think? What's your take?
Them do into history. Meka uriunga history. Mina shi uri ahi samu bwana. Professor Dr. Raymond Yumena Professor Ndikonta Yumena maybe ringweda ka asanka merine mfumu Wakili sangi mu bwana you divergence bio but back on it is summarize we see to summary na you she lana we then tesi look at discuss na tesi bo yambo sipi address issues she so ka afa see summary ina you take home point na then see lombo na see yelambo ade see sasi then maybe it's a fan be answer questions ayumba la mene take table ban logical.
All right,
then
over to you.
Take home then tesi lombo na. So Professor Ndikonta Rabil la summarily in 2-3 minutes the main focus of your presentation and what is the take-home message from your presentation.
Me wala mene mfu jimke baba men feje ambo bir si nso wi amlami wimbo maka vuse ninjo ambo siam juoye fadi iwoyam chita kona siring sine mem woyam tumngar siaturga baraga ba mimngar woyaring a yuska ambu yutie siam le juoye akoba nembo aga vunjo avuse ni ahining fu membore me kobe Allo aka ahin bona aka werin ne sia ye ni yu ha ba ni si wiba banjo che sia am yom fu ntom bi ko yo ba liba am bu yu bi magor am ringani an yom fu ha alimbom ga am ji yo welo ye ni ba ba ke yo liba we mi si ye ni we ka ke ringan yo yo am bo si ni si yo ba limbom naga am bu me la menele mfu mke ba am fi ana. And for the obvious reason, Nkwimbarambe chunye ba. So aka avunjo te buana ka leba. Bu akoni si ni menfeche chora ke vangon. Nga gasa amvu. Bara persi simfu siga. Nga chora ka avu. Alane njo chenji ngwage ni menfu ka ele bonka. So si ake tur conflict ana. Eji conflict bimo alo lane afator di mualimbo mga ngotoba libara nje buona wa ajipsi nje wa so mfugu change and change gor kubanjo bu vunyembe mo vuse ni agerbaba tabsi gorba bija vunye Nigeria ni church mo chike tabji gonna so abuji eji gewa amfuga eji yenge enjona beribe.
Very well, say. Sibi domi Ta-Nformi Wakili au have mentioned.
You are muted, Ta-Nformi. You may have to unmute Ta-Nformi.
Very. But then whether you know, si maybe si ba buti na balana ka you ban conclusion. You ba shi first.
Your take home on your topic. What do we take home from your topic? Summary, so, 3 minutes. Man,
the bala you merula you ban aka si jere lo ba mi tasimo kasinyo ringi chine wever ka bana we awen kien abaki ke ngum kien na ngwe bana ngwe na ringi yoga bi tine aku angongna abi tine akijer ke wadu ba fe akijene namdila sika nati alla virtua mbe abosi achutina ma shi yutina di saba vo ti represent di la ana Ta-Nformi janjo tinato tina isimo amkunge singa ma shi buona wowe bane si amungonga abo mbonga pernana bana si wikele aga bipshini si na wike si bi si na wike asi wike bane si yunkien wa sha bimi na si bankien le si akanije ambuti ne si alane si misi jer nindila si misi jer ninfo te si bo ba wimbo me ayu si abasi son about relevance so ayu ti me kwa sha about relevance na
very yes. Ta-Nformi Dr JB Samba.
Berry. Yeah, mela sidi ambo the bonfo ambo syncretism and acculturation it affect mfo ambo si lor ndi chor lang ndi chor anyapsi and mfo kak lor se tarmfo mo all the sara lor avio ba ndi mo lor ban ndi chora yarmito la mene anyapsi bubba hane andi momonga mwenfu suppose anchi whether you mwenfu yang wenyimbe kabana wenimbe ashunimbe kabana wemindamfu abamindamfu George say mfu suppose antur zingir suppose antur lang ni bi ni mfu sisi tunimbe yumola kubane ambongonsi evolve mfu suppose evolve. Unfortunately, may you in disagreement will be so called all Mfu about evolve now. May you in total disagreement. Those ambosia Mfu be evolve, but ambosi be weaken Mfu and Jerwa. You ni meaning in a si funim bina boom you so no ki Nfuh ala sadi si ginim bega berbu abasino sigi o Nfuh ala sadi si ginim bi vusene so gi ala sadi si ginim bi sigi vusadi sigi ga si terzan aside si do ala du gizana si vusene adi si ginim bi si ngwega lonim bi du bak kula inning min Nfuh ibo ba strange ni yiga inning min Nfuh ring nature mudze mo so nebi ke mbo ka ke dukuntom ke bazine ngwe banimbe Nfuh iba kula ba completely blank and in the dark. Meanwhile, simo Nfuh nimbe for 20 years. Everybody ba completely in the dark. Just this year, Lord, you more on okay evolution. Nfuh suppose and say evolve alle kuntomze. As a bips boom in Nfuh. Njodze abanjo bi ke just this year, Lord ndi ngweje as le kuntomze Nfuh. As a doris si manzi. Alzine siro le Nfuh so follow evolution among gong evolve me kwa na yuzika kabani si you abanga Nfuh so now you serious si suppose and ido Nfuh kuntom zambo ndi Nfuh ilane si je ke bane se lane o kabani si ilane okay kula siki shu amenta rure si alane just ngong evolve si lan si lo design okay jo ngong evolve si bilo ba no mo si terre Nfuh den lo fie ba cushion chairs vu to shumbo ba na bi faga evolution ana berega san iga san same ta rector min Nfuh iga siga lang ba si mo no gursu guri nguro na si mo itabze ben ni biso na le so malimbe me boya madwala tim ta renku lo tsukula asu iga ba tuvara yang san min Nfuh madwala ya mo bia shu cushion ilo ki anjerke amene si kwetse back ni zi track abomfu lor Nfuh imidzi sine yuna ezingir ko ifase su ambo just use nene ambo ka bana afi ambo ka si afi ambo yuwa bana ngir Nfuh su si reverse that trend
Very well time for me JB sibedo lisimbu Ta-Tamfu fake there some your presentation.
Very again. Very yes. So me kwane lawyer ya une Nfuh lead development manjekele schools, infrastructures, hospitals, any youth development kumbome Nfuh tele kuntomze and subsidy bonyo gile a strategy offer in synergy ba Nfuh ha or Nfuh ha sigishaka si form strategic teams and plan the development. And the development and Ndikonta si atra empower you to jo aga lauro di development kopo bani baka bani bi faka na bani Nfuh secretary ni si empower with warriors ke ni mo bu ambo mo njangi mo savings and loan project la table ja when participate in that development. Another aspect of development is siatra and kwasia o to wewe katasiku make sure ne isn't a true a steady income generating project. We can do that, right? But Nfuh leadership again, me si restore its structure. Think with towering zirfa and fill the gaps. Stacy fill the gaps in the lodge, right? Siatum waile gwele biawele and lang phone. Kabane ngwe Nfuh ka abangwe we could ka passing with time banjeke sisi kwa sazana. Another one about phone si document is knowledge boost sharing na be secret gain more si toka with what we use na you live forever so select document and then get it by uniform, right? Then when you discipline oka you only tell you of 5 years when and then she provide a good guidance to the next generation when Nfuh idulo muzu mumbanro. Sikagi Buawe, Mekwan Nfuh Baba Yubio Shishi Gani. Merambo Nfuh Moka Malane, Nfuh Yere, Mekwan Nfuh DM use Biolo Rono or Bet Basso in Georgia on job. We are focused on that, but I'm not speaking on behalf of Food DMV, by the way. Right. Mekwan Sika implement Buale Sidu Berry.
Berry, see, Berry, we were Berry, the speakers, Berry, all these panelists. The experience, Mkane, whatever Lane, we were the experts, that is the square pegs in the square holes. The presentations have been very rich. People have sat, we are listening, see a lot, almost 1 hour, let me put it 1 hour, 40 minutes or so, just for presentations and the summaries. So, si bi famum fi me kwane si ka ba ya isi yansi miss me jo na bi betu questions ka njo we are present bonbon se. So, my la wa atembo la na si bi fanji. Se ne do me the question and answer session. Me ne bi aba sangi bi mo sang me chat. Chine si bi be then we have your question na la ne ngwe ha. Angwe me fa ya question ne answer. Te bi wo ye questions, she answer te bi wo answer wa bi questions. Tesi Ndikonta. So, si be mo titi. No tesi boka she.
Very
questions. Very.
We are moving to question and answer session now, and Dr. Raymond Budi is going to be very helpful in this regard. Dr. Raymond Budi is going to be helpful, especially with questions that have been put on the chat. So we'd like to have the questions, and then all the panelists are open to answering the questions because all of them are seasoned Nfuh members. Dr. Raymond.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ta-Nformi, and thank you to all the panelists for the brilliant presentations. It's quite enriching and edifying indeed. I have learned a lot about Nfuh, and I've seen it from different perspectives. There is so much history in it too, which I have learned. I'm learning. Thank you very much.
Dr. Raymond, can you be a bit louder?
Okay. Thank you very much. The first question I see here is that of Dr. Ibom. He says, or he's asking, what is the difference between the Wazam Forum, diaspora folk groups, and the consecrated traditional Nfuh Lodge? Do they carry the same traditional authority, spiritual significance, and cultural strength? It's not directed to any of the panelists. I think very squarely it fits more directly to Ta-Nformi Wakili's area of presentation.
Okay. What is the difference between the WhatsApp forum? So my balawan mero tem lamu yumo we for njo mo ma kribipshi ne mfo akele te me ba shishi we si mo MBC you tine yona mero la ne mo ma ba la ne mfo si biti ba bi yu banjo mfo abika pan mfo ake sika do ine to tine si atruna a create v but certain point bana mbantom bi to mbaka why Central Cameroon ka bana Central military ka Central police ka tine emi fa tine si ginaka for me professor Abasunwe ine ika bawa ase ni na to amba we see founders we see villages so ato tine si atore amika aka se to bir se ni doba wikele isi doba Nfuh bana no one responsibility for amba amdubir kubalewa abaji weka mero lor inete mekwashine mo uwe mina ikonfo amuchine yumina tinina tisi fie kane wa biya to mo jejeje we am si gijele mekwashine si fie the church Christianity and then here the various orders tinemba within Christianity about the Order of Malta, the Knight Templars, Chine wants to protect bu waiting money Jerusalem. The Sifali seen the banking system. Chine see you say na nam keba wega. Bamba a religious order. Just about 4 you say na. While I change, I'll adapt. About see change, see adapt na. Njo see at source part of the responsibility, the roles. Chine say I'm trying. Ni the bigger entity. Chine see you part of. See you part of Cameroon. I can't feel more say nina name tongue. In a way to beer. Say nina. You tina me fawe. Anguka. You are me fawe ashang. I got phone nina. In a way do I am bad more ata. I me back se mu wenda. You be calling you when I me fawe fe chop amba ashang. So say adapt about every other society. Say adapt. But see, I can't do about me. Some of you about the order of Malta, the hospitalier. I can't do conjungo so after Bangabo way to Consamba. I mean, in the hospital, see them non corner and they worry. The amba beating I'm saying my baby. So pussy changing. No, Nfuh abake Nfuh ambanda ma beer. Be belki baka Nfuh si gibake Nfuh si gibu bumo JJJ abu malana mi kiba mi high ikiba mi high wiki akiba mi high mala wate Nfuh abu yo akiba mi high si sa bakele mwen Nfuh chine ring high I ring yu melana chambo so Nfuh ayu mo ini chine yuba ini Nfuh ka in the cloud ka this is bola name ba mi WhatsApp forum right Nfuh you a traditional institution about the military. You the talk now. A traditional institution. I'm questioning mistakes. Chine secretary. You bane si rogite bane njo nga ami agi dobire equity about bi agi dobire equity si yobie na njo where si yobie bane albi bane we have to am yobie ka what am si bi ka what am si gaga ka njo wa gaga wa yala ne no abi. But the reason, Chine wasi ro wa ring ne a traditional institution. Wa ring ne Nfuh amwe chine ki talk ship people. Wa ring wa. But since we kon yana ka, wa be si ne no Nfuh ikiba be wa la ba ne yu chi mi chu mi ndam Nfuh imi baba kakam imi baba nje yu chine si atro mi Nfuh chake ne wasa forum wina kakam. Void of any substance. Njo Nfuh chine you be forum adi ido talkship fuka ikiba 5 a.m. if am mangal mi amangal mi fum aki ma si mi ba mi forum mangala na ba fe so Nfuh ambayana ka Nfuh am true God JJJ abomelor yichan asilana Nfuh I space akilane consecrated. But I say about land, the land true and sacred. Jitine you, tine si yena, etu lanka. You me forums, etu ka. But you important. You important as a bami forums. Njo si you ambe. You important as a bami forum. Si bo yet ni be. Si bo sum be ne.
Thank you for
you important as a bami forum. This is what sum be. Tabo ve ekonisi and tactics jatruna very.
Very say. Very well done for me. That was quite elaborate and deep. It's even the B at the engineering core. That's for development. Even though it's there to fight war, there is the engineering core, building routes. So I usually see a lot from there. We function in that similar kind of structure. There should be an engineering core, a development core. Very say we still struggling with one is question about before. Prof Ndikonta's presentation. May you never answer Zana. About Mr. Emmanuel Jato. Mr. Emmanuel Jato, you may just indicate that you still need clarification on what Nfuh is. But then if it is clarified, you don't need to do anything. And then this other question, she will say, Mashi Mori, Ilane, a very rich talks, and I'm grateful and thanks for this initiative. Now my question, Nfuh is against religion or vice versa? It is a question. Nfuh, you're against religion or vice versa? My question, are you a Ta-Nformi JB about struggle? Nfuh against, I'm sure, Christianity particularly, and vice versa. Ta-Nformi JB.
Yeah. Adimla, you take out Dumbo Simo, so I include question. She's Susan. She's Susan.
Okay. Okay.
Iba clarify, Iba answer something more.
All right. All right.
There's a question from Susan. Nfuh is clearly a para-religion to others. It is important to understand so that people should pick a side. Most people, especially in the diaspora, use Nfuh as a social group. Question: can a man be given a title of Ta when they are not a traditional Nfuh member? Can we say for sure that all the current title holders belong to traditional or social groups? Nfuh should not be taken to the church. These are separate lodges. That is the question from Suzanne. So I wanted to combine that so that Ta-Nformi Gideon should handle them.
Exactly. Yes, Ta-Nformi. Yeah.
Okay. You know, and Bisana, before the religion or Christianity, Nfuh Amba. Nfuh Amba. A religion or Christianity even in Angombomga. So church AUJ Nfuh Aba UJ or recognize Numoser but atur nz JJJ Sokilo Nwana Anekaba fa uni nzisine visita omsi do igusinu and the talk color in this particular case in the Nfuh wega but mumo you and do ilor Nfuh do nyapsini church ka sina two different doctrines ka mumo you doctrine we Nfuh was supposed to choose so were you either we chiba ndisi mwembu from or was run ko ndisi mwemoje so vary anyway ada a lot of mwejiana for ning om ndamfu ga ibi faga.
Okay.
You are muterwa then a duku ambo tesiri mbang rumwe ambo obzuwe amur kongwe angombomi awo Nfuh ikubane we ko e ban fi so over bati ada ka Nfuh me ka Nfuh about like 7 years old. I'm fi so me ka ning Nfuh so but we want to that opportunity ka but I you see encouragement ka turbo sa bombaro nseni si loro we do me Nfuh to ke early. And so, and may Marvin Ambo answer the question versus Suzanne. Ambo Yumba I qualify, are there after a title so okay and a ta. Don't say Nfuh by birth, I birthright. In Mumba we sang Wembumi. Are you birthright?
Me, Dr. JB, for being so brief, and we want to remind all panelists that we have gone 2/3 of our time. We have just 1 hour to go, and there are many questions. I've seen many hands up. So before Mkafa, Dr. Raymond again, I just want to buttress your point. That for me, Dr. JB, Christianity and Islam came with foreign cultures. And these foreign cultures came and met the Wimbom culture. And now Christianity thinks that the spirit behind the Jewish culture that they promote is the Holy Spirit. And the spirit behind the Nfuh culture that we promote is the evil spirit. So they thought that while Nfuh is a good thing, they can do away with the evil spirit behind Nfuh and remain with the cultural aspect of it, which is like the chaff. And today we find out that there is in church, there's a church version of Nfuh, which to them, they have removed the evil spirit and have replaced it with the Holy Spirit, and God admits that and rejects the one within a strict traditional society. So what we are trying to see here is Nfuh was never against the church, nor Islam. Nfuh was going its own way, but Christianity, most especially, came and was trying to divert Nfuh members into church. Thank you, Dr. Raymond.
Thank you very much, Ta-Nformi, for that beautiful summary. Some more questions, Harry?
I think the Professor Ndikonta's hand was up.
And no, we do through the questions on the chat, and they will take the hands. That's maybe that's what I understand. Yes. Yeah, very see. There are just four quick questions. You know, it's a bit through. Then Laura, they take the hands that are.
Dr. Budi, 1 minute. Dr. Ndikonta, Professor Ndikonta, line. Kubami yen enjoy my ambo.
That's what he wanted to say.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Okay. How can all the information be documented?
No. I still have.
Okay.
I have some
That's
remarks.
right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. I have some remarks.
Okay, Prof, go ahead.
No, Makuta la mene bimi were Dr. Ta-Nformi JB Abalane Nfuh bandindele evolve ka la mene ade yumo go chule ambomba lungonga George kewela ba mbo yime fue kela wa mbomta rerenge vi uni americana de vi tumta rerenga no bana bi buchu anshia ade vi bond up ne rerenge america ga even we to gola sini ndab rerenge ba oka ai bond up sini we boba ne shi ka ga lor mo reng la njo even bucha gi men damfu ibu go ni na change bari bale ne si aka ji gi yulanga sifa lane you have to be changed. You want see change there. See match the essential. Let us keep the essential of our culture of Nfuh. Even ade uba impossible ga. Bimo amchi kitera change nele aba menda Nfuh chok nile mta lolo urakani njo ajisi ndiga. Yana ndichi ambo mwabelane syncretism na. Then Lamene Agadi Nfuh Domichorka Njo Nfuh you a sacred society. Domichorwa abinga baya bafembo Njo Nfuh ambawa yumbangro. Very busy.
Yeah, very Prof, very well for that intervention. It's a Tumbomit ba and they also have questions in the chat. I don't know if the hands are to ask the question, but then I could take the questions quickly before we take the hands. How can all the information be documented and preserved for future generations? Are you, Mr. Ena Ngwai? Is it Mrs.? I don't know. Yeah.
Sorry,
Ena
I'm Mrs. Ena Ngwai. I am president.
Yeah,
President,
yeah.
we
Okay.
Canada, Kini Wesia, Mrs.
Okay. Sorry about that. Very sorry. Okay, very see. At one point in the Ta-Tamfu about push across documenting for future generations. For to the handbook. And my question answered directly to you, and be responding. The next one. Very sit Ta-Tamfu.
La phone ne si ma je Ta-Nformi Wakili la yumbo na phone.
Okay, okay. All right. Yeah, Ta-Tamfu the Guntomze.
We're 2 to 3 minutes. Ta-Tamfu Kini we're seeing Baya. 2 to 3.
You got the Fatenome about already presented. I'll probably disclaimer set to no documentation that I'm aware of. So the history uses all these history professors and those who are already in the project, so that they is there a book we can refer to? We don't have one that I know.
Very see. Very well. Berwa. Yeah, Ta-Nformi Wakili.
Make it on show, Doc. As in, fa tine you say, Nina, me question about Ta-Nformi, but it's Ilana. If we balawa and Joaku, if Bakuji, in the Simo, or make it ban any fee, Simo, Siabani from moi, fo, a mad one, fo. You ne, Jomo, I'm no large in there, Eka Bawa, Cook Bootine, Beatram Rinaka, and Milokishi, Kes, and Mlane, who Magora, you watching that and Cassiabo, Siabasi, take me up. Who more your chine sia de chine mo rinka china ku ring back to mo china si sia de mena anje libo mana chi si no se mo ayu chine si migi me kwa chine ikari ba na si mo ni fe te ndamfo owe atru yo mo mabo ke emi baba digital timi ba chine amos no see a certain code capture access to the documentation me kwa chine CB ka fa yana o experts na yutana ben merolabane going forward as for next year Nfuh make it baba yu chine momo lana ayu wiki banaka aki gibane them merolor example Nfuh yu ne aki gi keka gwanta aki gi keka ningsi mwe me abomechumina ma kwa chine momo bibshi me sobangu ka me sobanga mo bibshi na iwa gangang ki bake munjo ke me sobanga Gebuwa na uwe si mi bi si jimni mo ana te mo uwe trek.
Very.
Ayo bala mane bon
documentation. Exactly. Very important. Very say 2 questions from Maureen Awudu. Why can Nfuh not be taken to the church? At what age can a boy child be initiated into Nfuh? And lastly, what does the initiation into Nfuh entail without giving all the secrets out here? 2 questions, 3. So you 3 questions, bona yeah. Yeah, my question is Ta-Nformi JB young at what age he started. When a boy child is born, it's already it's already Nfuh. It could be a matter of growing up and then getting initiation process. One of the questions in a young man, initiation process. I don't know whether it's some secret. If it is, she recognizes the fact that we must not respond to it here.
You ambo order ndambwa yangombunga ambo you ambo ngiri ongwarunga Nfuh use through a specific initiation process ka wakiba marungwe adumindampu waki dumindampu bana we ambo you mbara bangwe mbo bana we member Nfuh ambo ka ba me fisene yongir igesa ada ndimindampu bana binninge working nimbo kabam fi sine we okida ngira kiri ko we you sumo wol ko you alo feel ne sumo bumo you sabe ke gina mi fi sine adi mumbu mo lo ba mi so bi ibi jer sine zara bi jer mi ndap sine but we mbori da ba yo mbo we you mo you sine you be special and gite we ambo mbaro we ta vunding mi ndam tuba kuba no ambo we then bumo ka lo jeri very
tem anbomba back tem ko anbo kam you moderator wa merolane culturally before the big work of siamshi train be informally bangwe amshi lor mujo yo do menfo idu yembo biki gibu menfo yembo bona wa abane shi yeni ambo bona te ba yang si yibo bamjo ambo siamshi yeni buba nje wa mamingwa mshi ko munji shine yu munke she ko si shine ba yang si bo ring jiro shine play initiation na me kwa na basic initiation na well ba mfe kwa ko title na o she fa wenye bumo shine your title intena gisha your title ni na gisha ambo initiation me fo me kwa na ba wa well ba lead for me ba ne matoto anwo we kidumba ka am for me we sepka mo lo ba ngwe shine for me mo she you inherited am inheritance specific bubab ntaana so si ringle anjewa so ambo me kon la initiation ba simple as that very
perfect basic initiation very I know we could Nfuh out to preserve our cultural values when we always bring in prayer during sessions. Are we missing the point? are incantations, not traditional or cultural medium of prayer. Are prayers not wishes and desires or supplications? Those we pray through in the Bible, are they not ancestors? What is wrong with our own ancestors that we can't use them to get to Almighty? What does that? It's a lot of questions in there. But Kadingwe Mofa, a quick statement, one of the presenters.
Yeah, Professor Ndikonta, are you very ready for that question?
Okay. Yeah, Prof. Or to Mike Birwa.
Presentation.
Hello, Prof. Maybe he's not getting us. Okay.
Yes,
use the question. It fits. You wanted to respond to it. I don't know.
Again.
Okay.
Question on that.
Okay.
Are
you messing through? And I know we could Nfuh to preserve our cultural values. When we always bring in prayers during sessions, are we not missing the point? I mean, during Wikuda sessions, are incantations and not traditional or cultural medium of prayers? Are prayers not wishes and desires or supplications? Sorry. Those
sorry,
we
but
bring. Oh yeah.
I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. Is a problem on my side or your side? I don't know. Maybe on your side.
It's a network.
I can't hear you.
Oh yeah. Mention a problem
the problem is from Prof N.
Okay.
From
network.
Any of the presenters, please. Lie more quickly on that. Mention the probably EUC feedback you poor.
Yeah.
I want to think so.
She finds the end of the panelists.
Ta-Nformi Dr JB Samba in syncretism, inculturation, acculturation. Are you more in a facing get see on our daily lives? Academy, Nibi Analola, and when and no, you are I just who finish boa be. The question is about Tesca will Tescane you are just beaming you are Ibami Fetine, Sisim, Ndamfo, and we could have. Sifaka Nimbang when the la in a wa, imi ika give libation, what me beam there. Abowa rone si tolerate yamdile. The question of boom watching si tram sigi. The question of the reality. You are tell. I'm here in a Jayana Baka, but I utin si abasilegi. Aka bibshini any more we could have said nina. Kankuba we put aka amwa JJJ bimo amilane si kabam ke you bane si miku ke bane law. Yes, I just cook in law. But law and the law jekele si mi loba antike alibara ke alimbomi. So anje bu mo tine me recognize in a citron for and mo say but aje ku fa leba mfo ka ikiba mi mfo ura tura bo weki giyen lo mi mfo ka ke ka ndamfo si mo afa tine si mi gije abi ne biengi mo ni mbangro mo ni title holders ni pitine pastor si mi gibona we abi ne kwa shwa ayu metro la mi dumo.
Very see.
Okay. Dr. Raymond.
Magias Kala Taba muted. Ta-Nformi TEN. We take all it. Magias la denaba muted then Ta-Nformi Wakili have the contomze. So you mbakuro la EU this ring. JJ if we coulda Banfu. We coulda at a cultural association, even it be Bogor. And Abzumi is the constitution. So you and Abzumi in anywhere and when Bometros the right and chi the way it be alone. And then so me we even though I'm a Tanformi Wakili you could still buy to you institution, so you difficult and manage. Okay, all okay, and low, but over low by the over low by the Kazake, over low by the these Baptist care, and these Presbyterian care, and these Katoria. When using most naked to church, Laun and New York, and I will for 5 years, but about you we loan and think of Funambia, go give Grand Jerke. So in Bona, I'm a moon once is more view, soon evening get. But the Kabaman Damfu. And then Tamfuh so no ke elo and Jesus na zaranti fuka. You clear wa. And then Tamfuh so ke elo and in the name of Jesus, amen. As the cat fuka Tamfuh like Jabe. Very
well.
Tem famo example mo abek tesi yosh. Famo example mo shine lingwe mo shine imbam she kunro agi. Imlane sike kunro. Sik kurune pupshi. Pushi sike kure abi bonbon shinom duguntom si hilana okay oshi kene si oshi kene ina okay la pushi wa la ba bebe ka okay la ba evil spirits ka okay la ba bishom duguntom anaka ashi la pushi bane si ka la pushi ade si la even bishom Muslims adola ene Muhammad apushi adola ne Jesus apushi jo abishom duguntom bi atu spirit ye ne shade oshi kene si so em lonne Siki she from watch la push watch la ne be shom duguntom and beyond duguntom shinum tundimbo mbayeni. Meko I mean that was a very reasonable way of lane. Okay, visip kushe abi shine duguntom abi show you yeni abi she am demba yeni shadi oji gita si she ye ene bumo abi aji intercede nesi in front of God. I'm kushe kibawa. You abi baby ka abi bonbon. So make that example. I'm going to clarify myself.
Very.
Doctor.
Yes.
Let me interrupt much again, Doctor.
No problem.
Say or one of them through away Mayambo. C'est tout privilège and tout Reverend Tata Stephen Amusi.
Perfect.
And Sekawa Iba Bayeni, Sabayu aussi Reverend Tata Stephen. C'est beau trash this particular issue before Ntombi, ma en Nangwaye for Stephen and then Timbombo Chuwe Miki Gorga. Berry, Reverend Tata Stephen.
Come on now. But Berry and Bomaki, Sermonzan, Vimina, Nelonfi, Ayu Suwi, Ayong Smaki, Ayu Sota, Wakili, Ta-Nformi Wakili. Yeah, I give a very strong point. I'm a very practical person. From a background, me just fuka. I just church cat me guitar and sang some background. Me not just to put my point. And just because mo ala wrong, ala indicating mo bola indicate. Ibala a very strong point. Ibala mo relevant. If I'm fu me yet mo singe abanjo sinine sifa fio traditional council. Bad decisions in fu lolori. Nge you gormi imi gaha. Judge mo ba me traditional council, the chairman of the traditional council, mo you mean fu me vela yumbo isa yi lo furje me atol bu goran la so me ko geter an chango chiche. Okay, rectify this part ka banenge be ko stay ba ne fu ba ne biala. Then well Otumbo do my bon you time for me JB Abala the issue of let's Nfuh ambo buma gorava weekend the Nfuh bismo so you mean fu so kwa no baba Nfuh or you Nfuh oyoka thank God need professor ambo gave Allah bu mo meba kon you so got me the professor la mu sharsia kula ba mbom jera ke ev sigaring you Nfuh yo ring ne ambunfu ate ring Nfuh you even the fight if church Nfuh you church gina Nfuh sigala you church gina Nfuh bane si ba sharing you Nfuh yoga you church gina ne memeya more of a kind of cultural kind of Christianity ko do ami Bible sang Bible in a context where you ambomlo sang ne beyond bana gina am ka make it interpret Bible make it interpret in context so mga bang okay I'm mbom si ni but me nothing to do as a Wimbom person and express my culture. But I don't you got do all into Christianity. not putting out the cultural parts of it, then I have nothing as a women person to benefit from the culture. But what the church is doing, they're taking a cultural aspect of a man to express and worship God in a kind of way. Church ki ever give Bani siblo lane church na le matoto me church sinebe ki baga as is get and confuse sipto so that church church agi a cultural aspect of a man, how a man can worship God. Okay, okay, zai zai na culture bi mo ngabaya
Anyway, 1 more minute.
all right. Then Tamfuh abala the issue of structural restoration. It's a very important thing. Biomi fu gorsi akong and save ka ngoku ko ambawang for me. Kum Ta-Nformi you may buy in a place also found Ta-Nformi a title eating nothing about the culture, eating at the very names of Bunko that very nawana, eating a boki Bunkoka, Boki Giuka, Aqua title for me, if it soon be back here. So the restructuring, they just be so called title lana. They didn't hook up by using the neighbor, Metoko Bugo benefit about Berry.
Sorry. Berry, ref. Berry. Ma Edna, why? Your boy phone. We're taking you right now before Mr. Stephen Paul.
Me chani wavi tariba for, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to ask my question. So I'm enjoying so question she very related to Nfuh. But immediately she me yo she bu shambo ya lantini. Yo very informative, very enriching. But and then maybe a phone year ambo forala Ta-Nformi, marche and all of that. But the reflection in the community, the reflection amongst ishi don shine the culture to progress ga ichi evolve ka njobi shi culture cha ba shi progress si aba ko yambo you amongst the youth si aba yambo wash manifest ji with a lot of understanding and appreciation. But yana iyo very lacking and si abaji jerry chine bia understand the culture sega bane wobi ring and practice ji sega and wobi even to that appreciation. I had a professor who used to describe it as cultural bastardization. So sibiga that the correction in the young population, the young Wimbo, she calls it Nina. Si bi giga ka iye any one culture yo important. Si chota si nina she de ambo Nfuh amba the last time she de ambo nju. But we fear ko baba visitar chia chotita. Both ke ayo amu siga si bi giga ka cha si chane wo. Me fe memba mu cha. Bon ambo meye ya ta ba Maurice Ndikonta echo. Me fe waramba mu cha wo mti bia wo ti do wa mwa chi ye ne wo. So I'm to be able to do one what here and would boo. And I'm fair enough time for me, but Sheba, Marsham Bagon, but I think we had a better understanding than what we have today. So your question say Ubana, Sibi can incorporate this culture into the lives of our own children. So in our lives, a lot of it's very technical. See, she's learning to be someone, to be document. How would this documentation be done? She be impactful to the younger generation. Yo, see, about some baby they like a lot of technology. Bana sibi giga got develop she culture in that direction. Chine biabi appreciate she chine si bambi ambo si yona ke mwa si yene there is a great turnout, especially among the young. And then we are saying there is confusion. In fact, there is confusion. It is all a gospel song now. It is all gospel. Church but if we have that mixture where there is no clear distinction between what is the culture and what is Christianity, but the confusion, got correct in this our generation as we go on now from today. Very say.
Very similar, very well got. This is call Mr. Stephen at once, and then the response group, the panelists, and Mr. Stephen, you have the floor right now.
Berio minda bacha ni meba abang lama ke njiba ba hini mcha ni biga so nene mute
Tell me your beyond the epic.
Banem dugun tombia
No dugun tombi bero
me cha ni si Ameya Stephen 4 biambo Ta-Nformi Ndikonta wa Ta-Nformi chango mem nyang way my own 30 years ago angway so you am yanta angway kubama yaunde many men big question ka me huro giaba a pointer on we have a lot of restructuring and restoration. Melane, most of our institutions positions emphasis on hierarchy on the role you play in that position. Ambuhi ade abane Ta-Nformi ade do gir pa gwenjobe aye to me lampuga ambam giwa then I respect every title holder at different levels. Then ku mixture ihi baka agizi ni ilaba membe point you have my only age well yeti ambo yujiba ambo chief of bureau in modern administration so he yinenta ajana yumta ncha tine iwa ku hifa lifa so ngwe yina adi ngwe ti yude PhD mina gi agwega he yina fa yiwan ba yuga so the emphasis in all our institutions the titles in Baba based on what you are capable of doing. I recognize that in that sense. Ya ka restore and you he give and jene agiwa gwentini I hear aspire and become aspire become Tamfu. You can just end up with what we have currently. Then the second thing, Merola, you were about membership. Yes, you've been in a akabiwa mbarung ade akuring abibang Nfuh but iwane ayung Nfuh wa adbaska abiwa ambarung where you have the potential to become a Nfuh member joylo bam fi hina we bangi ina de Nfuh alo lor we lor Nfuh jo we am ku gi fong ya due diligence ya abo judge ne are you honest le are you reliable le ya ka we when we mean ye ndawana so ayu abubana himebaro yani mko point out bana mebaro ban each question siga ahi yong saying for this initiative I think it has been really enriching and educative very
ba Stephen sorry wa make ona Mr. You demeaning tangway
we are remembering Nfuh ya one day ba ori remember Nfuh yeah member tan lose me ana
okay. That's been very sit and why Stephen for very well. Could someone please clarify the reason for the presence of ladies in full session? Is it because it's online? Does them for evaluation?
Doctor, make one answer question. Naga Edna why you
oh yeah, perfect. I mean, very sit very well.
Yes. So very well, ma why. You will under the youth make one presentation about very important. Always Nfuh idule omu mumbangro. After obi the year she going. Oba Nfuh obi for we all boom tam. Mo temi do kitomo practice around 30 minutes before the session. Kake you ana ebi motivate we Nfuh. And ambo tangwaya umisina. Tangwai o Tamfu we also gamja for we munja between jamjo fafa buka fanya eboke duvo I think we have a way to bring them back. Very.
Very that. You're very strategic. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Ta-Nformi Dr.
Yeah. Merolane make it la sha ati wewe. Mene school mo yoshine sibidu ye ne mwembum culture mboka. This is school shisigi any culture ro andam jo andam shisigi tatiambo bi ama wimbe. Afa di siki ye ni bona. Afa di siki lorbo te bodo ye ni. Jo sika ko ane school mo yoshiabe du ye na fo yoka. Bido school ye ni bugjeje ye ni mas ye ni kele school jisi ye ni limbo me ye ni ndito ye ni ambo siki gibu ale mwa shisi aturi ale di shisi kele ba ambo wimbo me ichwa bi ajisi school ano so fa ma shi mumenji shi ai don fuka fa ma shi mumenji ai don joka fa ma shi mumenji shi adu gathering shi ne yo gathering shi wimbo me okay bambo ka ndo afa di shisi ki ye na jisi culture ayumbarola
right Dr. Sambo wela na situr bong she you one of our daughters and he very interested if you you around Sunka, what motivated you to be so used to and accustomed to getting so interested in our culture? Okay, if you're there, I would like to have you on the video. Yeah, go ahead.
It shows hello.
Yeah, sure.
Bakushita comment on the question she received mamo about regarding transference of information from this generation to the next. Meshila ba momu she matter some information and aringa mo me come about jaka njo abo meshi ko mku shibumo she ya ma o ya ba omku sumwe. So don't be discouraged. Who continue to learn what we are relaxing. The transfer of knowledge is not lost. It be but deposited in your subconscious with that information. So are you alana very we see.
So we're listening to Bongake, the daughter to our Ta-Tamfu Henry. And the person speaking is Dr. Bongake, who is right here, very interested in culture. She speaks Limbum so well with Nimgangwe, but she's hardly been home. That is what so she just thought she should, tell us what it takes for our kids to be very used to our culture. Go ahead, sir. We have about 20 more minutes, and we just
one line.
All speakers take 2 minutes at this time. Okay.
No, there's one last question in the chat which I was reading before you took.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just one last one from Mr. Mark Kanjo. It says, could someone please clarify the reason for the presence of ladies in the Nfuh session? Is it because it's online? Does the Nfuh evaluation? Does the Nfuh evaluation? I don't know. We are discussing authorize this.
All right, let me just make an attempt because that question was asked to me when the flyers were sent out and the link was sent out. I know that other responses and will come up, but I think one of the speakers clearly indicated that the things we are discussing here are the things that have to be understood by all as every person, irrespective of whether you're a lady, a man, or Nfuh or not. The things that are deep into the Nfuh Lodge cannot be discussed on a forum like this, not to talk of online. So that is part of probably the reason why we can get generic explanations, generic knowledge about, and very rich knowledge, of course, about the Nfuh Lodge, its evolution, and the subtopics come to justify, why everybody can be part of this conference. Otherwise, still, we have the specialists themselves can tell us why.
Right. Temkula yumba. Me fusiman zemusha. Anukula me that how to impart this knowledge to the younger generation. You very clear. See, lamina nisi bisang. Yes, you bong and sang. But and sang, I guarantee in a bibi bega. So, but si so point fit ne this it deep mina sia big fele. And it do more to the fact ne kabane si turbo am dabi sa bombang si sugeri it do fu aturbo benji amo benji si so mbona bam sina bam fu so amo last time make do nim mazana ka lormu iwi do me wa aba mo me na me mchip sa ne bowa e ba next time e do mko do ro ambo si bish asen zban jerwa.
Yes.
And then an could be the questions of option in me kwana si yo me Nfuh session ga.
Okay.
Si ba kimfe. So sha Nfuh session ga si giba kimfe as di ambonfu. I use bin jamba mina famo injoga. Because what you want is Nfuh about your me mambina. Te bin joko ko te ni amungu yamne. Hime te ngong ka se do tom za bilang. Maroka do tom za bin jobi bulo la. No, so even though sung mina bonfu, ideas used to be in job come in as a blood dominjo.
2 minutes, please. We are out of time. We have less than 20 minutes to go.
Yeah. My question is, so may ambo 2 Ta-Nformis up. There is Ta-Nformi Ngala and then Ta-Nformi Samba. RC. Dr. RC. So you met so those 2 hands you met it now.
Yeah, I think Ta-Nformi Ngala's hand was up and then Ta-Nformi Samba followed. So we give them 2 minutes, please. Each 2 to 3 minutes. Ta-Nformi Ngala, the floor is yours.
All right. Berry me Yongshi Mwewe Mekwane, this exercise is a wonderful one. Meta akugi me shone be carry back question ka ben ka mesengwe ka to one line jo kubayeni. Make abatosh she maybe she Ta-Nformi Dr Ndikonta right lane evolution you like inherent ataibi buga njo ngongo wesh kupsi and me bimi jana njo buwo wesh kupsi aransi mfu ambaba kula mfu ambanyembe payuwa senesi jinomfu ni Yaounde Douala America Shaba ayu shi turan nesi yong should be ambosia tiragite tekocho hate idukun tombe. You mologa amene ya family ngwawa bowa wiko mabuya. Ombring fo se ka beraba afa all objection that info you are say okay info should be or should prepare in America. So me lawa andula mene sifa present situation nambo bua bipsi waga ibu you shisi agi shivi you laudable shisi turan appreciate natime janado. Mem bidu aye doctor ashi di uria doctor ne sugar level doctor nem bitranji carbohydrate ka me ngwembo me mbaru ngwemfo mene doctor wuram ko ira yiba base ne ga base ne mbi carbohydrate ka bani mblogi ape doctor alane mene no afata me ibongambo lawa mga alana biji baga mana me veni approach mo shine ibi carry the step way so me lange ne tie ne we yiba ba njekele control ambo we yiba me la wanjo la manjimo silo iduku church itura itu strategica si ku hit ku church ambo si yubank bjiri mini then ambu shi church or approach mo fong shi you counterproductive me kwane me you be alamina strategy
you important. Si atu and fear is the message. Bon. Ye can be sure she do church. She could be wimbom si be isi ako abi. Si culture ha banje ke faji ibo ba shi ne o pitch we all term we mean tong in either appear eco church or appear manfo me kwa ne that approach you too hard and by a convincing message so melane bu ambo si ambo si gina ambo si chu suna ambo yimbe si yuna ashigiti ne te culture ado kontamjina si gitirwa smooth in the end gite biye ne si culture is important salvation the line you use as salvation personal salvation but give us your 20 to and defend a wimbo si tu ran pie mo distinction ana si ka ku kari dorwa ichi bi mo chi ka lo termwe mo ne ada abido ku church or abido mampo bane si create situation mo she ibija si bedja si bagor siga so melana si continue more and dine but bad strategic ayumela bad strategic refines the message promote culture culture ka ba lo ba shi amo melana bo wa ke she miss culture she bearing culture
for 1 minute anyway
benele sigile te culture bale shi ne ngwe mesi ishi di yang yone ma miss mfo untini ma miss shina jana bi ibi kusi culture mendam fo mendam jo mendam kewo we shina a culture bere
Ta-Nformi Samba. Nfuh Dr Tamfuh.
Ta-Nformi Damsa, I guess.
Yeah, that it came later. Yeah.
Right. Perfect.
Yes.
Ta-Nformi Samba.
Yeah.
Yes.
There is your melon for your singer. What's it? Tine. You see the keynote speakers. Biara Lab, Lula. Then do me the organizers and the moderators. Nkwashmene, you may you tine. You say, as alone, this type of sessions should be coming every quarter of the year so that people hear any book ringing. I didn't see long normal, sir. Any book. Even myself, when folk, men can't put Sago but 5 years. We are tired of folk, Jamro, do good general for Washington Banfo, and you do men for time for me, Barry. Can bear me when the yam to the phone for over 6 years or 5 years. We don't put together. So, me, la mene, you say, you tantine, ekume, midi mo, say, midi, say, put in article, abayembe. And be a good question for yembe, back exactly a musicola. Meaning whether you have some form of proliferation. You give back a lot of Vokubamenda, or Lorkula, Voma Yaonde, or Lorkula, Donje, Dubai, Lorkula, Do Europe, Voafa. Manus which adapt to the local environment. Sichum Damfu Yimbe, Amayaonde, Umadwala, or Bogwamenda. Iba fa bialam fu bam dawe. City arrangement. One according to atoshin ta ne Ta-Nformi o kanen kwa baba o ta wifam baba atoshim ta ne biana ne blibi o just ta na meji mo akona mo. Wa chunyi JB ku chwa ndawe kunonfo. So me kwa shine sibiku lorbu ba mo we one step at a time. Amba lungon. Ambo ngawila mana ngwa atumba afa wata atumba se nismo dubashang. Sara ko atumba ambo maya wonde nasmo nyi but arrest when how did you kill this animal? That's a protected species. But mbabe in James for you about you development. Sisi ma biska bet biska wasi kuma ah. Meselo ngam fu mene fu aring achur ankuye ni bu muwe. Calorie. See, what about so hard on religion or so hard on Christianity? Me question choriokola mosque abakola membe yo nga mfu akompla mo nga o nga muslim ha but si wo compare mo christianity njo si go me church ngwa ne ngwemfo and the church you bebe ka ne ngwemfo and the church you bebe ka am se ma ngama what you are Rome do what the Romans do wa ba memfo agi you nga mfo akeke wa fu yembiarira wa ambassador mfo gi you say mfo expect na gi so alola
Only
ngwa
like
no si
1 minute. Oh,
yes there is so melo mene ngamfo arine ajere in a war that is a mixed war. Adisi isolation yon na singamfo sibiku bane ka ba me fe mo ka ari mo churu wedding bia do me church I go do for me church I do lo I can cholo taga I go na tite me chi cash mo me mo shuma me you should lo mi so achu anche aka far actually you can do far him ka far go do far they can do far ka I go bonni but you mo sitting got church preach I got preach yes.
Ndamsa bless for me for Europe Mendabi.
Okay, them conclude. Okay,
less than 10 minutes.
Okay, there is them funding it down. Them funding it down. Them could some time back. Next time I talk more.
Very.
Thank you.
Yes, time for me, Ndamsa. On Ndamsa, yes, bless.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, me turning up. And then I will say compliment to the
Idua.
We're here you work out.
Oh, it's a question.
Berry. Move on. Yes.
The first.
It's remove interruptions.
Yeah, in where they
interrupt you. And yet in yeah, there's some little interruptions.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So one for development, and then yeah, a question that falls mostly to the diaspora. Specifically to you here in diaspora. What don't we think it is? We need to develop a strategy of a collective approach to on how to obtain projects and see how it being realized in Kula. Because when I understand also where we need to develop is of course we need to develop ourselves here, but also realizing or implementing some projects home is another one. That one is not a problem, but here at the level of diaspora, how do we collectively, like for Europe, for DMV, for Nigeria, all them, even for Yaoundé, Douala, the ones that are not Kula. Yeah, how do we? I think that it's also important. We have a way. We should brainstorm on a collective way that together we develop a strategy to obtain projects, not to implement projects. To implement, I know that Winter already have a structure that can implement, but to obtain them, to gain them, that is one. And by doing this, one of the things I think is the legal structure of the legal status of Nfuh. Because to do this, you need to obtain fundings or support, be it moral or cash. We need to talk about the legal status of Nfuh. Because you cannot go to ask money to, I don't know, somewhere or somewhere without having, I've never heard us talking about our legal structures. Like Nfuh. Of course, Winter is having a legal representation.
1 more minute, Ta-Nformi Dr. Just 1 more minute, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Then I will end it there. Yeah, that is one of the questions that I wanted us I want to throw it in the house so we can start reflecting on. And then another one, even is it possible to develop a standard model for the structure of Nfuh Lodge that we respect? Everybody builds it. Because I have the feelings that maybe I have my means, I go to my village, I build a structure that is this way, And then when you go to the next corner, the Nfuh is not up to H. I think that we should have a model, a standard model that all the villages should opt to have, and then the size also, because
right. So your time is elapsed. Ta-Nformi Damsa, your time is completely elapsed. We're so sorry about that because we wrap this time. I'll still hand this to the moderators. Maybe just for a word, a wrap-up word from each of the moderators. We like to keep to time, and in the next 2 minutes and a half, we should be done with this conference. Over to you, moderators.
Can I just have a minute to clarify something? Moderator, let me just clarify something, because I think this one came from me and it looks like understanding you mebalaga mebala mene meba kani ine sifa gibumo anje mo jinjo si mbega mala mene ambomfo avdembe bumo yusa di sigi bu basika di sigi ka vusa di sigi vusa di sigi ka situr yumo yusa di sigi ambozika e beba me sene yusa di sigi dese ambope gikula bersia design si bigiga amid mala mene problem lo bana sene yukuba sa di sigi ambope gikula but you decide we more decide ne sifa gianjero aga for whatever reason mala ke bane just me ye sinambo be also on misunderstand many balane no bane si have in America bane si bi mtakula mtarenkula avone America wa no, that is not it. That's not the point.
Berry Berry wasi ndombo sijido adisimbu tembe fanji mbilo ame moderator mbilo onji especially the tiyoshi
ne Reverend Pascal ba big yumo ti ba bong na busy tika pamina
I'm Zangala Johnson
culture Nfuh na sikati na shishika pane yumo ti na ifa singesi maybe she na wa mi pe ewetrolenji Ta-Nformi akusungle were.
Okay, mbaro la njo me yengo mo ashin na bom ka Ngala Johnson ashin na bon yinane. Meshi here on the screen. So I will find it 1 minute. Mene ko express you be like almost yaba mena ka dente si conclude. Yes, where you were?
Yeah, me kichani ya yongchi magarambo ambo ya sombu ambo Nfuh and so on. And you for a job and ya Ta-Tamfu, even though anything ambo Nfuh, you very ignorant with them for. Me ya niko bunti say even though ya Ta-Tamfu, but ya you marrying you ne Nfuh Tinyembe, you a symbol of the a symbol of the Nfuh Okula, and you like and then for about a men's secret society in Bumland, and the Imbane Byongi Nfuh as a gateway, what particular about integrate easily into the real Nfuh Okula. I didn't phone him be bam for Okula. I always say I'm going to give and take a bawaka boom very secret in a day of being bigger. So the good Liana young TV many Yagian is Bioyan Kubu and Bonforty and Baba very impressed the Dr. Samba Movalana or the audio or Yem for Ulana Jesus or America Yanaki Bawa. I didn't Jessica. I don't think so, and I don't believe in that. So Moguta Yonti and the Yonti Peter especially about initiative many who do let Kuntombi. Since Baba Mena may be la you got so Mogulaman Kula Yonti with Charlie Bonbon
very this is close in for 1 minute again Ta-Nformi Wakili take clarify and pastor la you mo they'll clarify then tell for the mobile lomina with misgivings.
Very see me you take Lord 1 minute na jo ayu mo chiku futi bia la ne akabayo mwembo me bane aja loyo ndila yo bane bi mo ka bana aja loyo ndila do me church limo mana ku fo wa pero clarify you more in Nfuh you ba a culture about it like an institution you about the military aka for church amkuba apto jejeje wa wherever church adi adom a military younger barak afo aja ka and one number two mwetine ekim dampo eke banka we lorion fo asi do mi church ine woro dung si ke an fo ti ne kuba kakange mweti ne ifa we nji na do mi church al panda si ka ke si machi ine mwese ato culture ti ne misinterpret iba yangse bia mwenfo ti ki do mi church mbunjo ke ki do fo ja la ka we do fo ala we pretty pastor sanction we ine wa do fo atoke. So gradually, you will be calling you maneke, you want to 40 you are la imi ke si remember sta iba mi fe ti ne bi mi bana mo eti ni mi to shi bana pastor imi vu imi church vu to shi ayu ti mi ba bana gradually 40 ne imi ke to toka gradually 40 ne imi ke to that substance that spiritual part of imi ke baka ambu ti ne si to am gitearing in Nfuh is not a culture, it's our traditional institution. Chine you are about the founder. Those institutions, he manage a talk. You see, talk wimbo. So if I can the libum chine you ne to culture chine lorry ado mi church na njo mwem atu mwembo mi if I can be millennium malaka ayumala very.
So on that note, from our end as moderators, we want to really thank the panelists for the expertise they demonstrated in presenting their topics. We want to thank the audience and especially the women, because I noted that the women asked more questions than the men did. Maybe because they really are in search to know what Nfuh is and how Nfuh operates, which is very important. I want to salute the women who came in and the questions they asked. They're very edifying. And on that note, I want to say that, this is a learning exercise. For those who said they want to see something written about Nfuh, there is a project on that. And it started about 5 years ago. It's getting towards the end. It will come out and people will have information that they can learn about Nfuh. And then for Nfuh to survive, it's a challenge to all of us who are title holders or any person who is a title holder, whether woman or man. Please, if you play your role that the title confers on you, you would be promoting Mbum culture, wherever you are. So let's learn to play the role. So if we don't know them, let's learn them and we can play them and we'll be promoting our culture. So thank you all very much and hope we have this kind of session again next time. I think I'm putting this directly to the Learning Center, the Canada Learning Center. Hope we have such sessions about Nfuh, and last time it was Nju. Today it is Nfuh. If there are other questions that come about Nfuh, please don't hesitate to bring us together to reflect, discuss, and grow our knowledge on these institutions. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and let's convene again when the Canada Learning Institute brings us together. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Ta-Nformi Dr Ndi Richard. I'd like to hear just one word from Ta-Nformi TEN, just one, please. That's been a very wonderful coordination. The anchor crew was amazing. The speakers were just elating. And so Ta-Nformi TEN, just 1 more minute. Let's get you round.
Maybe like that. It was coming up.
All right. So if Ta-Nformi TEN is apparently unavoidably absent, so again, I want to say a big thank you to Ta-Nformi Professor Ndikonta, Ta-Nformi JB Samba, Ta-Tamfu Bernard Tanwarong, even the winter president or chair, who is Ta-Nformi Changong. I hope I've said it well this time. And to all our wonderful participants and audience who made this a very special event. I will be stopping the recording right now with your permission.